What's up everyone, it's Brad with the Hodl Fandom. Today I'm going to dig into the NBA TopShot Market Crash and analyze to see if the factors that led to that can potentially affect the Veve marketplace. For those that are not familiar with TopShot, I got involved in the beginning of the year, and for a number of reasons the market crashed shortly thereafter. And my account went from being worth thousands to hundreds. So we'll get into the reasons why and my analysis on whether these factors can affect the Veve marketplace. Let's get into it. So I think I got into the NBA TopShot hype cycle just as it was on its ascent in January or February, and that was my first exposure to NFTs. Not my first exposure to crypto, but NFTs. So TopShot got to a point where it was basically like Veve. If you got a pack on the drop, and that was a big if, it was instant money. The market peaked at around the springtime and then dumped shortly thereafter. For example, here is my Series 1 Kyle Lowry that you can see I purchased for $381. Who's now worth about $85. Or this Series 1 Markelle Fultz, who I purchased for $218 and is now worth about $80 as well. Or this Kawhi Leonard that I paid $355 for and is now a measly $30. So I'm not too upset about it, as a lot of this money was house money, as I was a big flipper, working the market, predicting set requirements, and then buying low and selling high when that set was revealed. So this market crash is something I've been looking into bit by bit in the background while I produced my other regular NFT videos. So there are a number of theories why the market crashed, and I put together what I believe are the biggest factors. As I go through each one, I'll discuss the similarities and the differences between TopShot and Veve. The first thing I want to bring up are bots, but not the typical bot issues that most people are talking about in the community today. Yes, there were bots on TopShot drops, like with Veve, but with TopShot there was also an additional issue with multi-accounting and bots manipulating the secondary market. Multi-accounting is where the same person would open up multiple accounts and give themselves more chances to make it into the TopShot queue system. This TopShot issue is best described in the article by Minted Moment, which I will link below. And it basically explains one notorious case they call the Vegas Dave Heist. This one case was discovered by the community because of the power of blockchain. All transactions are transparent and activities can be easily tracked because this is all on blockchain. There was an account called Vegas Dave. We don't know if this was the real Vegas Dave, but it was discovered that there were accounts feeding moments to that Vegas Dave account. These moments were acquired via both the drop or scooping up off the secondary market. There were even other accounts feeding these primary feeder accounts. What this does is it creates an artificial demand. It drives up the secondary market prices as these people are always well backed financially, and ultimately that overinflates the prices. So this is just one example that the community was able to figure out. Were there others doing this in TopShot? It's almost a certainty that there were. The general public may have just found this one example, but the fact that the TopShot team took drastic measures to counter this says it was a big problem that they could see on their end. So what they did was restrict some drops so that only those that met a certain criteria could participate in. They also implemented KYC, they temporarily put a stop on gifting, and then re-enabled it with rules to prevent situations like this Vegas Dave heist. Without this whole system, with the Vegas Dave system that created this artificial demand, well, the market took a tumble soon after. This isn't necessarily the only issue. There were other things that happened around the same time, which I'll get into in a bit, but this definitely had a big impact. So are there similarities to Veve? Absolutely. The issues with Veve is that the full chain of custody is not available to us users as it was available to TopShot. So although I'm certain this is an issue with Veve as well, we don't have that information to make that hard conclusion. Yes, our latest update shows who is selling the NFTs, but the full chain of custody, that's how they got these collectibles, is not known to the community. So we aren't able to audit these things like how the TopShot community was able to audit and discover the Vegas Dave heist. So let's put a pin in this and move on to the next thing that caused the TopShot crash. TopShot was being pumped hard by NBA players and the media, so demand grew exponentially in a very short period of time. The higher the demand, the higher the price. That's basic economics. As the hype died down, it normalized the prices, and that helped contribute to a crash. My opinion is that this is actually very different from Veve. Although we do have the potential to market this product very, very hard, Ecomi has strategically chosen to hold back the marketing, and that's great. They are working on scaling the product first and then pursuing some more aggressive marketing. Related to this is looking at the market cap versus user growth. To give a visual representation, let's take a quick look at Max Minsker's analysis here, and I'll link it down below. Basically, he did a lot of work compiling TopShot data. He shows that when the market cap spikes way too fast relative to user growth, the market cap will go cold as it finds a new equilibrium. Now let's move on to the next thing, that's the general sentiment with TopShot. And it was just a cash grab. As long as you secured a pack, it was going to be worth more than the pack cost. So on top of that, if you were lucky enough to pack a LeBron, a Zion, or a LaMelo, you hit the jackpot. Those were very hot commodities early in the year. So the influx of users that signed up weren't buying packs to hold, and they weren't buying packs as fans, they were just buying them to flip for profit. Now, this is eerily similar to Veve. This also leads to my last point of why the TopShot market crashed. That's the MTL and the ability to cash out. For the longest time, you could not cash out your profits on the sale of your TopShot moments. However, in late March, they enabled KYC and rolled out withdrawals. In combination with my previous point, those who wanted to use TopShot as their lottery system, which was a lot of people, they took their profits. There was massive undercutting, and they took their money out and ran. Now, there are other key holistic differences in these two projects that are not necessarily tied to the TopShot market crash, but are relevant if we want to talk about a Veve market crash. The first thing is the NFT utility. In regards to NBA TopShot, aside from buying moments of players that you were a fan of, the other main incentive to buy a particular moment is if it was part of a set. Now, these sets allow you to earn more exclusive moments. There was talk about some sort of gamification with TopShot, but that never happened, and it still seems they're pretty far away from that. So the issue with sets is that they just involved a handful of moments. So the countless of other moments that did not belong to a set, you wouldn't have any incentive to purchase them. Veve is much different. Every Veve NFT adds points towards the Master Collector program. It's not a small subset of our NFTs, it's all of them. All collectibles, whether part of a completed set or not, contribute to the Master Collector program and thus have incentives to be bought. This creates buying pressure, which will work against a market crash. So the second thing I'm going to talk about here is something I'm going to call the trading card syndrome. Here's a real life example. I have here 8 Vladimir Guerrero Jr. rookie cards. So I bought these last year and he had a crazy year, so they've definitely boosted up in value quite a bit. If I was not a Blue Jays fan, and if I packed a non-rookie card like these, it'd be pretty worthless. So it's only these special cards, like these rookie cards, that typically hold a lot of value. In fact, any non-rookie card is pretty useless in the real world unless you're looking at the greats. Like a Michael Jordan card will always have value. Or let's say these LeBron James cards, they're not his rookie cards, but they will hold value because he's a part of the GOAT conversation. So again, non-rookie or non-GOAT cards don't hold value very well. And I personally feel it's the same with TopShot. Any non-Series 1, non-first appearance, or badgeless moments are not very valuable. So unfortunately, that was and kind of still is majority of the moments out there. During periods of market sell-off, these are the cards that will be dumped. The closest thing we have to this is like the Batman Black and White series. But since we have so many licenses and so many types of products, this thing I'm calling the trading card syndrome will not impact Veve as much as it did TopShot. The final thing that is different is that the factors that contributed to the TopShot crash all happened within a very short period of time. There was a real compounding effect that happened at the end of March to like April or so this year. With regards to Veve, the upcoming thing is the MTL. The heavy marketing is being strategically delayed, and the counters to people abusing the system, like in the Vegas Dave heist, aren't even on the ecomi radar. So that compounding effect of everything hitting at once, that will not be the same for Veve. In any case, I do expect a market dip. I do not believe it will be as drastic as the TopShot crash, as there are some key differences that I mentioned earlier. However, for short-term flippers, this will be and should be a concern. This will not be a big issue for those hodling long-term and plan on buying land and exploring the Veveverse in the years to come, as the market will rebound over time. So for those short-term flippers not hodling long-term, firstly know that the first dip will happen with the MTL and the ability to cash out. Some warning signs, some key warning signs to keep an eye out for an accelerated dip would be if Veve ever mentions restricting gifting or introducing strict KYC on all accounts, which they did mention they are not doing for new users because of smooth onboarding. But these are the warning signs that will accelerate a dip, like with what happened with the Vegas Dave heist. You can also take advantage of this like you do in crypto, by not aping into things and having cash on the side to buy the dip. So hopefully you now have a better idea of some of the catalysts that will affect the NFT values, and you can plan your buy now strategy. Anyways, that's your summary of what caused the NBA TopShot market crash and my analysis of the impact to the Veve marketplace. Thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.